What's up, everybody? My name is Kyron Chase, and I will be giving you the Great Balls of Fire review. But first off, still champ. I beat Kyrie yet again for the third consecutive pay-per-view. Uh, but um, what not? But Great Balls of Fire. I thought this was a pretty good show. Now I'll be honest. I spent 4 hours on a live stream watching this show. I just did a quick fire review on it on Steve Copland's channel. Uh, so I am kind of tired, but let's just get this out of the way. First up, now as usual, I don't cover the pre-show, but let's just go through every match. First up was Seth Rollins versus Bray Wyatt. It's a shame how the build-up has been so underwhelming, and the match missed the mark. This wasn't a bad match. It was cool seeing Wyatt dominate and be overwhelming. But the problem is, like I said, the build up being so poor, it was hard to pay attention to this match. So I didn't care. I like both Seth and Wyatt, but just like the whole feud, this match was a disappointment for me personally. Seth had some pretty cool high flying offense, but the ref was dealing with Bray on the outside. Bray poked Seth in the eye, hit him with Sister Abigail, and won the match. It honestly shocked me to see Wyatt win, because you don't see Wyatt win many pay-per-view matches. This is only his third pay-per-view win, and his last one at Payback in a House of Horrors match. So that didn't really even count. I was shocked to see Wyatt win. It wasn't a bad match, but it definitely, just like the whole feud, was disappointing. I give it a C. Next up was Enzo versus Cass. Now the video package play for this match was really, really good. Enzo came out and he got the crowd pretty hyped on his promo. Cass came out, and Cass's new theme I'm not really much of a fan of. Cause I was listening to Seth Rollins' theme when it first played, but maybe I just need to listen to it a little bit more before I really give like my actual thoughts on it. But it's probably not gonna be one of the songs I'm gonna have on my phone. The match had a long stare down. After that, Cass just completely dominated Enzo. This was pretty much a squash match. Enzo tried, but Cass dominated him. He smacked him around the ring, threw him around the ring. The spot of the match was when Cass press slammed Enzo out of the ring. For a second there, I thought he was going to throw Enzo into the crowd. That would have been a crazy spot. I think Cass might have had the strength to do it, but you take a safer bump. And I'm more than fine with him taking a safer bump. Like I said, I like how, like I said, the video package highlighted how the story has been. Enzo showed a lot of emotion in this promo, and while the match won't win any match of the year, it won't win match of the year. This did what it had to do. It showed that Cass on his way to stardom, and for me personally, I didn't really, it wasn't that good, but it did what it had to do. Make Cass like a monster, a star, and I don't think Enzo will get buried from this, because Enzo always gonna be loved for his promo ability. It wasn't bad, but it definitely wasn't great either. I gave it a C+. Next up, we finally get something really good. Cesaro and Sheamus versus the Hardy Boys, an Iron Man match for the Raw Tag Team titles. Now, once the bell rang, Sheamus got the first fall in like a few seconds. With a brogue kick on Jeff, I believe, and threw Matt out of the ring. And then after a while, there was some fighting. Sheamus hit the white noise on Jeff, and they took a 2-0 lead. The Hardys then fought back and got the first fall, and they cut it to 2-1. But then Matt got knocked out by taking a shot to the ring post, and Sheamus got the count out fall, putting Cesaro and Sheamus up 3-1. And everyone in the basement started saying, I hope Sheamus Cesaro don't blow a 3-1 lead. For my sake, I couldn't afford to, or I would lose this baby. Then Matt started to get beat down, and once Jeff came in, he managed to pin Cesaro in a really good move where, like, Matt hit him with a suplex, and Cesaro's legs were up, and Jeff hit him with a leg drop on his legs to pin him for the 1-2-3. Then after a few minutes, Matt hit Sheamus with a twist of fate from the ropes, and they ended up at 3-3. It was a wild sequence. The last 2 minutes of this match was so good, intense, and energetic. Because especially when Matt tied it up, because you didn't know where it was going, like who's gonna win, what's gonna happen. The ending of this match was really good. So Matt earlier had got cut, like busted open. I don't know if it was from a forearm from Cesaro or uppercut or what. Matt and Sheamus were fighting, and Matt threw Sheamus to the ropes, and Cesaro tagged Sheamus' back, but the cameras didn't show it. I had to rewatch the show, watch this, because I didn't see it ever happen. The cameras didn't show it. Cesaro, then Sheamus moved Matt into the corner, and Jeff tagged Matt. Matt and Sheamus hit a double clothesline, and Jeff hit Sheamus with the Swanton bomb with about, I want to say, 25 seconds. Cesaro ran in and pinned Jeff 1, 2, 3. That put Cesaro and Sheamus up 4-3. Cesaro ran around the ring to try to buy time, and then with 4 seconds left, Jeff hit a twist of fate on Cesaro. But right before the referee said 3, the time ran out, and Sheamus and Cesaro retained the titles. Now, I think this match at times had filler, but the moments that worked really, really worked. This was it was energetic at times, very slow, technical. I wasn't sure how the Iron Man stipulation would work, but it really worked to make this one of the best matches of the night. And the babyface is making that comeback and racing against the clock made for great drama. This is how Sasha and Charlotte should have done. Instead of Charlotte tying it up, Sasha should have back at Roadblock. But Cesaro and Sheamus, of course, looked great. They showed off great chemistry and how they outsmart the Hardy Boys. The loss doesn't really hurt the Hardys, and seeing Matt busted open in the corner and the way his eyes were moving, this does bring up more excuses to have the broken character if they get the rights to it. Because just rewatch how Matt's eyes was after the match. You could tell he looked a little bit crazy, if you know what I mean, like a lunatic. I gave this match B+. I don't think it was the match of the night because there were a few minutes that just felt slow and like filler. Billy, who was on the Wrestling Ramble podcast with me, he said that this match could be cut down to 15 minutes and been much better. And I agree. Definitely one of my favorites of the night. But it was definitely one of my favorite matches of the night, and probably second or third best. And I really enjoyed it, especially even if you don't want to watch the match, just watch the last 2 minutes of it. And that last 2 minutes was what brought it from a B to a B+. Next up was the Raw Women's title match, Alexa Bliss versus Sasha Banks. Now, Sasha started off on dominating this match because she is the better of two workers. And she was attacking her. Alexa then did something she's done before. She turned her. I can't do it because I might break my arm. She showed she's double jointed. Her arm was like poking out. It was hard to like it was bent, and she was thinking like she broke her arm and then attacked Sasha for it. One of the spots of the night was when Sasha was standing on the apron, and Alexa pulled her legs under, and then Sasha just hit her upper back and head on the apron. That looked really like hurt, and I was afraid Sasha might have been concussed. Sasha locked in the bank statement, but Alexa just barely got to the ropes. And after Sasha was probably going to win, when Alexa got the Twisted Bliss reversed by Sasha putting her knees up, Alexa got herself counted out. And then the two continued to brawl up the ramp, and they went to the announce table, and Alexa was about to DDT Sasha on the announce table. I don't think she would went through it, but she would DDT her on it. Sasha threw Alexa off, and I think it cut her lip. And this is the second straight match that had blood, by the way. Not as noticeable, but her lip was cut. Sasha hit the double knees off the announce table, and that's how it ended. Now, the countout ending might disappoint a few people, a number of fans, because it cut short what I thought was really a good match. And definitely Alexa's best match to date. Mark Rambo, who I'm a good friend of, who goes to my school and is also on the Wrestling Ramble podcast, said that Alexa doesn't really have good in-ring chemistry with anyone but Becky. And I actually can agree with that to some point, but this is actually her best match to date. And it's a shame it ended by a countout. And a lot of people might not like that, but I'm fine with it. For one, it was physically thrilling, and Alexa continues to show to improve. And these two have great chemistry, and it'd be smart to let them go at it a few more times, especially at SummerSlam, because I think they're both good on the mic, and they could tell a really good story. Like I said, Sasha not being able to win the title on pay-per-view. And I know a lot. It might be that Alexa moves on to face Nia Jax at SummerSlam, or it might be a triple threat. I disagree with that. I think Sasha and Alexa is really a money match. Uh, and yeah, I'm fine with it in the kind of because it contains the story and it keeps both women looking good. I gave this match a B. It was definitely a really good match, while not as good as it could have been, but count out does not hurt it. Next up was, after two good matches, I think this match kind of underwhelmed. Dean Ambrose versus The Miz. This is easily one of their weaker matches. I love both their Extreme Rules match and their SmackDown match back when Dean first won the title a lot more than this. This wasn't a bad match by any means, but it wasn't remarkable in any way. Miz worked on Dean's leg a lot throughout the match, and because it was pretty much 4-on-1 with Maurice on the end and the Miztourage on the outside, the numbers game called to Dean. Dean went for his throughout the entire match. He was getting his leg worked on by Miz, put him in a figure four, working on it. Dean went for the his wacky clothesline, whatever they call it, and while the referee's back was turned to Maurice, who had just gone the apron, and Bo Dallas and Axel pulled Ambrose off the ropes. After that, Miz came out, but Ambrose fought them all off and hit a elbow drop on all three of them, but you could tell he hurt his leg in the process. Miz and Ambrose fought some more. Dean hit the Dirty Deeds, but Maurice grabbed Miz's foot and put on the ropes. After that, Miz hit the Skull Crusher finale for the 1-2-3. This match was really, not interesting that much. I will bring one thing up. Dean cut his lip, and his Corey Graves brought up and said he got crimson in his teeth. This is the third consecutive match that had blood. Now, granted, like I said, the first match had the most blood with Matt bleeding at his face. But it's kind of interesting when this was supposed to be bad blood, and yet they changed the Great Balls of Fire. Yet, bad blood, but yet we've seen 3 matches that the night with blood in it. This match, it had some moving parts and a nice, and it was obvious what the story was of a wrestler trying to climb uphill battle. But the feud's momentum is gone. This, like I said, other than his feud with Cena that leading up to WrestleMania, this feud's been going on since December. No one really cares about it. It wasn't bad. I've seen both men do much better, especially with each other. But I think it's about time they move on from this feud because there's no more heat in it. Once again, nothing was special, but because nothing was wrong, the least I can give it is a C. I only drop things to a C- or a D if something's really wrong with it. Next up was my favorite match of the night. Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman in an ambulance match. This just started off with a slugfest, with Braun towering over Reigns and just throwing him around the ring. He started working on Reigns' ribs, like I said, throwing him around the ring area, using the ring post. But then Roman hit an impressive looking Samoan drop, which I didn't think he'd get Braun over. But he hit him with it. Then after that, Roman worked on Braun's surgically repaired elbow by smashing it with a steel chair in the post. After this, Strowman hit Roman, but Strowman fought it off and just knocked the chair out of the way. Just knocked it away from him. And then they started fighting toward the fighting up the ramp. Strowman then grabbed Roman and threw him off the stage into the ambulance again, but couldn't put him through it. He grabbed a stretcher and outside of the ring and just started hitting Roman with it. After that, they went back to the stage, and Roman shoved Strowman into the wall, and it broke. Definitely an incredible spot. After that, Strowman tossed Reigns off the stage again, and more brawling happened for a while. Roman hit a Superman punch. This is where the ending of the match happened. Roman went for the spear. Strowman moved. Roman went flying into the ambulance, and Strowman closed the door and won. Braun Strowman actually won the blow-off match. Well, is it really a blow-off match after what we saw after it? After the match, Roman got completely out of the ambulance because Strowman didn't really intentionally put him in there. It was more of an accident. He speared Strowman into the ambulance and closed the door. Now, mind you, usually in an ambulance match, the ambulance has to be closed and drive out, but Strowman was already determined the winner. Roman took the guy driving the ambulance, threw him out, drove the ambulance, He went into the garage, backed it up fast into a truck, and all you just a boom, and it broke. And that was amazing. That was incredible. Uh, um, the way the ambulance crashed into it looked sick. So like what Shane Mann did to Kane once by having a limo crash into the trailer. Um, but now after that, Roman walked away and Kurt was legitimately angry. And they tried to open the door, they couldn't because the back of it was smashed. So they tried to get a side open, but it wouldn't open. They had to call an ambulance, and the ambulance had to pry it open. And they got Strowman out. Strowman was covered in blood. So that's 4 straight matches with blood. That's saying something, don't you think? And this is like his arm was bleeding, his face was bleeding, and despite this, Strowman still didn't take the stretcher and walked away. Did we just see a double turn? I doubt it because Roman Reigns. But think about it. Well, for one, this didn't hurt. WWE did hurt the Impact of Strowman's win a little bit by making it more about Reigns, but still, Reigns tried to kill a guy after he stupidly lost the match. Strowman, on the other hand, looked like a valiant babyface by still walking through it. And the way the commentary team was talking, it did seem like Roman turned heel. Granted, I could be just looking into this, but I'm really interested to see Raw tomorrow night to see how this follows up. What's Kurt gonna say? What's Roman gonna do? What's Strowman gonna do? I gotta see this. That's how you do it. And I think if this had ended the show, just with us asking questions, it'd been much better. Next up was Heath Slater versus Kurt Hawkins, and a match that was unannounced. And you know, unannounced matches I don't watch. Heck, the match was barely even shown on camera. Everything they were showing they showed a bloody Strowman crawling out of the ambulance. They tried to intend to him, but he hobbled his own off. I'm not gonna rate the Slater versus Heath Hawkins match because there's nothing really to rate. Most of the match wasn't even shown on camera. Heck, the finish wasn't. So I'm not gonna give it a grade, and it won't factor into my final grade. By the way. Now this is similar to like what Reigns and Rusev at SummerSlam, but that match was announced and was hyped, so that's the difference. This match, I don't impromptu matches, I especially impromptu matches I don't care about. I'm not gonna grade. Next up was the main event: Brock Lesnar versus Samoa Joe for the Universal Championship. I started up before Heyman came finished Lesnar's introduction. Joe attacked him and gave him a Uranagi to the outside. Joe then started to knee Lesnar, headbutt Lesnar, and started beating him down. Lesnar came back with a few suplexes. Joe tried to lock in the Coquina Clutch a few times, but Lesnar never faded or lost consciousness. Joe tried to had Lesnar like in a corner and about to put him in a Coquina Clutch again. Lesnar dropped, slid through Joe's leg and gave him a few suplexes. That was pretty tough. I don't really like Lesnar's matches, but I gotta give up to his agility and his agility. Like at WrestleMania, leaping over Goldberg and here going under Joe's legs cleanly. That was pretty impressive. Brock hit him with 1 F5 and Joe lost, and Brock won. You know, I'm not angry at Brock winning. I mean, I wanted Joe to win. And I'm not even mad at the match. It was a pretty good match. It was, even in defeat, Joe looked dangerous. And it looked like Brock won by complete luck. Like, Brock was desperate. But the match wasn't as good as it could have and should have been. It wasn't, I liked it definitely more than Goldberg and Lesnar, both at WrestleMania and Survivor Series. But it felt like it wasn't finished. Like, it was a second and third act to it. I really wish more than 1 F5 that took Joe down, but Joe got more offense than Lesnar did. Lesnar barely won. He won by the skin of his teeth. I know they won't continue this feud, but Joe can move on with added momentum regardless of the loss, and Lesnar will have a new challenger, whether it be Roman Reigns or Braun Strowman. I really enjoyed the match. I'll give it a B+. Oh yeah, and Reigns and Strowman, I gave it A-, by the way. And now let's look at the entire card. Seth and Brad gave a C. Cash and Enzo, I gave a C. Did I give a C? I think I gave it a C+. I gave it a C. Cesaro and Shane versus the Hardy Boys, I gave a B+. Alexa and Sasha, a B. Miz and Ambrose, a C. Ambrose and Reigns and Strowman, an A-, and Lesnar and Joe, a B+. You know, even though I have 3 C's, you might think I didn't like this show, but that's not true. I really did like it. I probably liked the more the Extreme Rules, and I was at Extreme Rules. and nothing on this show made me as angry as Bayley and Alexa Bliss. So even then, I would argue this is Raw's best pay-per-view of the year. It doesn't have, for one, all three of Raw's pay-per-views before this, Fastlane, Payback, and Extreme Rules had a match you could argue, or had, well, Payback and Extreme Rules had a match you can argue are worst match of the year contenders, and Fastlane was just terrible overall. This didn't have anything worst match of the year contender, but I'll argue Rollins and Wyatt and Miz and Ambrose weren't as good as they could have and should have been, and the main event ended a little too short, it was only 7 minutes. It still wasn't as bad. While the show isn't the show of the year I was hoping it'd be, it's definitely still a solid show in general. So as usual, let me go through each match. Rollins and, like I said, Rollins and Wyatt getting a C, Cass and Enzo a C, the tag team title match a B plus, women's title match a B, and I don't know, Miz and Ambrose a C, and Reigns and Strowman an A minus, and the main event got a B plus. That equals out to a B. I really enjoyed the show. Definitely really good. And I think I might have given Extreme Rules a B plus, but I definitely did like this more. Just because I graded a certain way does not mean I didn't like it as much. Next time you see me, I really don't know. And I don't really have any way to close off. I'm still the champ. Kyrie has lost to me yet again. And I'm Kyrie Chase. I will see you guys later.